Hi, and welcome into Meet Me in the Movies Open Dialogue. I am Thomas Manning, and today I'm very excited to be sharing with you my recent conversation with actress Kathryn Newton, talking about her role in the film Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, in which she plays Cassie Lang, who is Ant-Man's daughter. This was a really fun discussion. It was actually the first time I've gotten to talk to someone specifically about an MCU project, so we had a lot of fun with that. Kathryn's had an incredible career already. She's only 25 years old, but she has credits to her name, such as 3 billboards outside of Ebbing, Missouri. Also, she was in the horror comedy Body Swap comedy a few years ago with Vince Vaughn called Freaky. And also, she was in a really charming sci-fi rom-com called The Map of Tiny Perfect Things. So, always interested to see what new projects Kathryn is working on. And this was a great discussion. Thank you so much for watching and tuning in. Hope you enjoy.
Hi, Thomas.
Hey, Kathryn, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Well, I'm doing wonderful. I really appreciate you taking the time for this, and I'm very excited to be talking with you about Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. And I have to say, you're building up a pretty impressive resume of on-screen parents across different projects you've worked on, from Frances McDormand to Julia Roberts, Reese Witherspoon, and now Paul Rudd. And obviously each of these are from very different stories and genres, but is there anything you learned from those previous relationships with your on-screen parents that you applied to your role in Quantumania?
Absolutely. And hearing you say those names, I feel like, first of all, I feel so honored that I got to work with them, but I also feel like grandfathered in somehow, like they've welcomed me and brought me up and showed me the reins of what it takes to be not only a great actor, which I'm still working on, but they're also really great leaders and listeners. But from the beginning, I think I've been training for a role like Cassie Lang since I was 4. You know, every project leads up to the next project, and I felt like I was finally ready, and it definitely had a lot to do with working with the legends that you mentioned. They were all very generous, and the main thing was they all wanted me to do well. They all wanted me to shine. Nobody ever wanted me to hold back or be small. And I think that's the biggest thing is Paul Rudd wanted me to shine. He wanted me to take up space. He wanted me to try things. And that was a gift. So Paul, thank you for helping me. And I think you can feel it in this movie that I didn't hold back and I definitely had fun.
Oh, most definitely. That really does shine through in your performance. And a few years ago, you were in a movie called Freaky, and your character there basically switches bodies with a serial killer played by Vince Vaughn. So when you look at the characters in Quantumania, which body swap situation between Cassie Lang and another character do you think would make for the most interesting dynamic?
Definitely Veb. Have you seen the movie? Do you know who I'm talking about?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, David Dastmalchian's new character, I believe.
He's going to be my favorite character for a very long time. I think that would be funny. I love a lot of the characters that we meet in the quantum realm, but Veb specifically, for me as a fan, those are the characters that I fall in love with in these Marvel universes. Because it's like the Wizard of Oz, like going to Oz and meeting the lions and the tigers and the bears. Like, these are new people to fall in love with, and I just love Veb. So I would totally swap bodies with Veb.
Well, I would pay good money to see that. I'm sure many other people would as well. And, another thing that I love about the Ant-Man and the Wasp movies is that in each of the 3 we've had so far, there's some element of a heist involved in the narrative, which of course makes sense given Scott Lang's background. So within this epic universe of the MCU with all these incredible characters and brilliant actors, who would you like to see Cassie Lang team up with for a grand heist adventure?
Oh, well, I will always pick Ant-Man, but for a heist, I think her and Groot could really get up to something, because they both get really big and really small. But I like to joke that this movie is like a father-daughter road trip. So we have had the heist movies, but now we have a father and a daughter reconnecting on a road trip. Just a family road trip through the quantum realm, casual, fun, memories that'll last a lifetime.
No doubt, yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of interesting things you could do between your character and Groot, but yeah, I love how you say that this is a road trip movie. That's a really beautiful way of putting that, and the character of Cassie Lang is a very culturally aware individual, and she cares about a lot of very important issues in the society that she lives in. But I also get the feeling that she has a lot of general pop culture knowledge as well in terms of movies and music and television. So, hypothetically speaking, if Paul Rudd, the actor himself, happens to exist in the MCU, how do you think Cassie feels about Paul Rudd, the actor?
I think she'd love Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd's the everyman, and I think Cassie Lang is the every girl. She's like everybody. I think that's what makes these characters, specifically Ant-Man, so relatable, is they're just like everybody else. And Paul Rudd, when you see Paul Rudd on the street, he's just like Ant-Man in the movies. Like, that's who he is. And I do kind of feel like Cassie Lang is who I am, but I think she's written that way, and I hope anyone who sees this movie, whether you're a boy or a girl or a teenager or an adult or an 8-year-old, can see who Cassie Lang wants to be. And she's a lot like her dad. She wants to impress him, and I do think Cassie Lang would be a fan of Paul Rudd, because I'm a fan.
I love that. I love that. Well, I really do appreciate your time today, Kathryn. It was an honor to be able to speak with you about Quantumania, and looking forward to your future projects, and hopefully we get a chance to speak again sometime.
I'd love that. Thank you so much.